Las Vegas, Nevada is where we at the SHOT Show, obviously 2025, and we have been having one good time chatting with a lot of different people. Now I got my buddy Andy Carroll from Daisy, Gamo. There's a million different brands, but if you anything around any type of pellet rifles or the old Red Ryder Daisy, my man Andy's has something to do with it, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, too.
Yes, sir.
How you been?
Been good, man.
Yeah.
How's the SHOT Show been so far?
Busy.
Y'all been busy,
It's been busy. The crowds have been good. It's been busy enough to not get bored in the booth.
Right.
So it's been good.
That's
good.
right.
Yeah.
Well, man, we had a chance to start working together. Man, it's been actually since the beginning of Bone Collector, I know.
Yep.
And one of the funnest things that we do every year, and I'm not sure we're doing it this year, but we're going to do it kind of in a different way or different route. But we do the Gamo Squirrel Master Classic, which if you haven't heard of Gamo, which I promise you more than likely people are looking at me like, well, of course we know Gamo pellet rifles. It's the adult, pellet rifle. Of course, kids can shoot it too, but these guns are capable of shooting almost like a little 22 long rifle when it gets down to it. So they're a very serious air rifle. So every year we go to Alabama with our buddy Jackie Bushman, and we have an all-out squirrel hunt with pellet rifles and the finest squirrel dogs. Eat fried chicken, laugh, cut up, and everybody or somebody will come back a team as the Squirrel Master Champion or the Gamo Squirrel Master Champion. And last year, Ralph and Vicky kind of took the crown.
Yeah.
And that has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, showing the capabilities of the gun, but also just I don't think we realized how competitive we'd get doing that.
Yeah, it's amazing how hard these teams fight to win that squirrel trophy.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. But, the biggest thing at the end of the day is we also have 4-H kids with us.
Yes.
They get out there, they get an opportunity to hunt, they get an opportunity to meet their heroes. They have a great time with it, and at the end of the day, that's what we do. That's what we're good at. We bring people into this sport. We allow them to have their very first shot of any kind with the Daisy Red Ryder. More people shoot a Red Ryder and get into the industry than any other way. And we've proven over and over again, if you can get a kid to shoot by the time they're 7 to 9 years old, they will be a shooter for the rest of their life, whether it's archery, firearms, shotguns, all of it.
They get involved.
If you get past 9 years old, it's hard to get them to come into the industry.
God, when you think about that Daisy and that Red Ryder, I just watched, I think it was a Christmas Story the other day. I mean, holy cow. And same, I was just, that kid who just begging my mom and dad for a Daisy BB gun. And you're right. I mean, do y'all know historically to the date how many of those BB guns have been sold?
Millions.
It'd be millions.
Millions. Yeah, several million.
Because there's literally, there's 70, 80-year-old men walking around their first gun now.
Yeah.
The company's been around forever.
Think of it like this, and this is going to hurt your feelings.
Oh, yeah.
But Christmas Story, the movie, 40 years old this year.
40 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we'd have all watched it when we was 10 or 11.
That's right. That's right.
That means we getting old, Andy.
Yeah. Well, now we're 35.
Then we're 35,
yeah.
See, we wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
That wasn't that old. God, it's crazy, man. And and I will tell you, it was that BB gun, too, that actually got me into hunting. It's funny, I started shooting pop cans with a BB gun.
Yeah.
And then I never forget, and heck, I'll say it live. I ain't going to go behind it because I've said it before. I remember having a BB gun, and I was really young. I had to have been 5 or 6 years of age, probably younger than what the box says. You should have one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm shooting these cans and shooting at little rocks out in the driveway, and then all of a sudden I see a bird. I'm like, man, I want to try to shoot that bird.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It was almost like a predatorial instinct, like a cat killing a rat, even if they were full, and the fat cat.
Yeah.
And so it was a Red Ryder that, shooting cans and stuff that helped me realize. Naturally, nobody told me this. Like, man, I want to go hunt a bird. I want to go try to shoot a squirrel.
Right.
Will this thing kill a squirrel?
Right.
And so now what we're doing, the innovation of Gamo in these pellet rifles, that on one cock, how it produces that much energy is amazing.
Yeah.
But it starts with a BB gun.
Yeah, it does. Well, here's another story for you. Lewis and Clark had an air gun when they explored North America. Yeah, it was the very first air gun ever. They had it with them on their trip.
Would they hunt with this air gun?
They would hunt with it, and it was 35 or 40 caliber. It was a big caliber air gun, all the way back with Lewis and Clark. That's when it all started. And so it's been around forever. We make products now that are very ethical to actually hunt small game with. All of our Gamo adult rifles are powerful enough that you can ethically take squirrels, rabbits, etc., pest control, all of the things, you know. And my story is very similar to yours. I started out with the Red Ryder also, and the way it worked for me is I grew up a California kid, and fortunately my parents moved me to Oklahoma when I was 9 years old. But it started out, my dad was a big goose hunter out in California when you could actually hunt and shoot and enjoy the outdoor sports in California. And we would go goose hunting, and I got to take the Red Ryder. No BBs, of course, but when they would come
Shadow
over,
shooting.
I was laying it down, you know, and of course I got to shoot pop cans and all of that kind of stuff. But that's how we start.
Yeah.
And then it grows into a love for the sport, a love for the outdoors, and then the biggest deal is it grows into a mentorship that you're going to pass that down. With my kids, they were shooting Red Ryders as soon as they could shoot one. They were shooting one, you know, and that's what it's all about. If we don't recruit them and get them in here, none of the rest of this stuff matters. None of this happens if we don't get them on a daisy.
You're exactly right. There's a good arguable point to say, without the daisy Red Ryder, who would be now at the 6 Hour booth? Who would be at the Glock booth?
Yeah.
I mean, would there be any intrigue? I'm not saying they wouldn't be. I mean, we watched The Rifleman when we was a kid, and Bonanza and John Wayne. But you don't start with a repeating rifle or a 30-30. You start with probably the most aggressive you would start would be a 22 long rifle. But 90% of the progression is a BB gun, pellet rifle, and then, you know, a 22 long rifle. And then all the way up to where you're at the SIG booth looking at an AR.
That's right.
I mean, that is the progression. And it's funny, that's what I tell people all the time. You know, anything we do, you know, they say, hey, man, I can't believe you would use a compound bow, and why wouldn't you use a recurve? Or I can't believe, you know, maybe you wouldn't do it this way or that way. And I always tell people, like, man, we got to remember we hit a baseball first off a tee.
That's right.
You know, even Chipper Jones started on a tee before he ever faced Pedro Martinez.
That's right. And, you know, still hitting on a tee till the last day he played the game because you always go back to the basics.
Go back to the basics and the roots.
You want to learn how to shoot well, learn how to shoot an air rifle.
Yeah.
It'll teach you how to shoot, how to stay still, how to stay on target. All those things come from an air rifle or a BB gun.
There's no doubt. And there's something you said, actually you and Jackie Bushman said it together at one of the first Squirrel Master Classics we had. And we all got together, and the comment had been made that there's a chance that small game hunting with pellet rifles could be a big part of making sure, you know, we keep the heritage and even save hunting, because now when you look at hunting overall, deer and turkey or elk or any of the big game, man, it's a lot of money for entry. I mean, meaning you got to have a leash. You got to have at least a family member that has good hunting. We got public ground, but even that can be tough, and it takes a lot to navigate. But anybody can grab a pellet rifle, an affordable Gamo pellet rifle, and find a place to go hunt squirrels. And most people, even right now, like February, man, if kids come up to my farm right now and said, hey, can we come hunt squirrels in your orchard? I live on a pecan orchard. I would say yes. And the only concern would be, you know, liability maybe, and making sure those kids are safe. But I would have no problem. It's a squirrel. It's good for table fare, but it's also good to keep kids outside and enjoy it. So,
and you need to keep your numbers down in an orchard, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want too many squirrels, and it's a good entry for anybody that hunts or shoots to get into the sport. Taking a big animal for the very first shot you take may not play well for most people, but a squirrel, it's a different,
perfect
situation, and it's a great gateway to get them going.
Absolutely. What's happening to you, Andy, over in y'all's camp? I know y'all got a lot going on when it comes to.
Well, just some, you know, like every year, a few new air rifles. One of the biggest products we have this year, speaking of squirrel hunting, and we always hunt with 177s and 22s when we do the Squirrel Master Classic. Well, we have a 25 cal version of our Magnum,
Really?
And so it's a little bit slower in terms of the feet per second, but
The
you talk
knockdown
about
is-
the perfect gun for squirrel hunting.
Wow.
It's outstanding. So that's one of the
Is
products
you
we're
still
really
using
doing.
the swarm technology?
Swarm technology.
Can you explain people what that swarm technology is?
Yeah,
Andy?
it's auto loading. It's a break barrel air rifle that loads itself as you load a magazine up, load the magazine into the gun, break the barrel, it loads the pellets for you. This particular gun, being in 25 cal, there's nothing like it on the market. It is the only auto loading air rifle on the market in 25 cal.
Very
So,
nice.
Very cool.
And
Very cool new item.
And that if you couple that with that swarm technology of having a clip, so essentially you got a clip, so it's
Yeah.
like a mini bolt gun,
Right.
where all of us our age
Yeah.
was used to having a cock, put a pellet in,
Yeah.
and then either cock it 10
That's
times
right.
and or
That's
cock
right.
it one time. But in this
Right.
case, you break that barrel and you got 9 to 10 shots
Yeah,
ready to
well,
go.
I mean, you're even taking it up a step from I used to carry these pellets in my pocket or a few in my mouth.
Yeah,
and I'd
exactly.
Put one in and fire it. Now you break the barrel and it's loaded.
That's right.
It's the coolest technology in the market. We've been out 8 years with it now, and by far it is the coolest break
It's
barrel
hard.
out there.
When y'all came out with that swarm, along with already the horsepower in the guns and being able to have the knockdown, I remember thinking, like, holy cow, how do you innovate past this?
Yeah,
Because it's
that's
so
what I think about every
amazing.
day.
It's tough,
Yeah.
You think about what's
Yeah.
new. Well, what are you going to do? Redesign that? You can't. It works.
Yeah,
It's so
right.
good. It's so
Right.
nice that you got 10 shots to actually go hunt a squirrel, cock the gun, and get multiple shots. Because you do need multiple shots. I mean, I always laugh growing up. I've said my first shot was typically a warning shot. I was so nervous, so I need
right.
number shot 2 and 3 was more important than one.
That's right. Yeah, warning shots. We all have some of those. That's what's great about Swarm is you can get a follow-up shot on a break barrel
Right.
air rifle. So really cool stuff.
Y'all got a lot of cool things, man, and obviously y'all's company, the people. I know Keith Higginbotham, obviously, we've all become friends through working together. Long history, all of us in the hunting space now.
Yeah,
in this
that's
case,
right.
working together with Gamo and Daisy, and so I'm just excited about all the things, and more excited. Man, it's cool to be able to hang with you guys. We get to running this show, man. I hadn't left here, and I know you hadn't left your booth, so kind of probably nice for you to step to a different scenery, right?
It is. Just walking for a little bit, getting blood back to my feet has been good. So I appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had predetermined, Andy and I were chatting a little bit. There was a time at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada, we might go out and shake it down just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
But now, you notice, close in age, a little more gray, a little more wisdom, and with that wisdom comes, soon as the horn blows here, we typically trying to find a good biscuit, a little piece of red meat or chicken, and we're in the bed watching
right.
Netflix or something.
That's
So
right.
there's a lot of things to get into, and you can get in trouble out here because you're already tired when you leave.
Yes, and you can make your week a lot longer if you're not careful. You got
Yes,
to be
you
real careful not to make your week longer.
You've
than it
never done
already
that
is.
though, have you?
Maybe I almost did one time, but
I think we was together probably. Yeah.
Probably so.
Andy Carroll, man, y'all check it out. If you want a pellet rifle, you got to check out Gamo. Obviously, you got a Red Ryder, but they're the best gifts you can get any young kid. So if you live in anywhere close to anybody and you find out there's a kid in the house, buy them a Daisy Red Ryder because you're going to change your life and you're going to be supporting a company that's solid. Man, it's American made. And by the way, like I said, it was on Christmas Story. You can't go wrong.
That's right. Can't go wrong.